It's time for Fifth and Goal with Jax Sanford, interviewing all of the area high school coaches on last week's game and their upcoming opponent. Let's go live now to Mystic Grill at Mystic Creek Golf Club. Here's your host, Jax Sanford.
And welcome back to another episode of Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at the Mystic Creek Grill, where they just had a menu change. And let me tell you, the egg rolls on the Cajun egg rolls on the menu, I mean, I scarfed them down earlier. They are so good. So if you haven't had Mystic Grill before, all the food is great, and they actually just switched up the menu. So come give it a try. And I'm Jax Sanford, sitting here with the head coach for the Strong Bulldogs, Coach Jason Porter. Coach, you guys won on Friday night. You guys took a win of 64-44 versus the Southside Hornets out of B Branch, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this was a shootout of the game. What was the back and forth like?
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming, honestly, from watching a lot of film. We did get ahead early. So they never got ahead of us at any point in the game, but it was pretty much a two-score game from the first quarter on. They got within 8 points in the third quarter. Then we stretched it out to 28 at one point. They scored a late touchdown after we put our subs in, so it ended up with about a minute left. It was 64-36, and they scored that last touchdown. But it was close. Two-score game into the fourth quarter, so it was tight.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a two-score game going into the fourth quarter in an 8-man football, I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything can happen, and obviously both teams were able to put up a bunch of points and be explosive, and so you guys, I mean, up until the fourth quarter, I mean, you guys had to fight hard and fight tight, and then at no point could you let off the gas because no lead is ever safe. No,
it's an 8-man football especially, and there were two distinct differences in how we were scoring. We had 501 yards rushing.
Oh, wow.
Friday night, and they threw it all over the field. They had two receivers. They're about 6'5". I knew they could. They were the best receivers we've seen. I just thought we'd be able to get to the quarterback a little better. He was better than I thought he was. We got to him a few times, but, man, they made some plays that we were all over them, and nothing you can do about it. I told the boys, hey, you just got to keep going. So in a game like that, you just go. And and we had a running back, Jay Taylor, had 7 touchdowns, 272 yards rushing. So overall, it was a classic, what people think of 8-man football. It was a shootout, and it was a lot of fun, especially when you come out ahead on it.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And so I kind of already covered what my next question was going to be, and that was at what point did you feel like you guys what point were you confident that you guys were coming home with the win?
Yeah, I'd say midway through the third quarter, we got up 20, and the way we were running the ball, we almost kind of slowed down a little bit to try to run a little clock. Mm-hmm. Once we got up 20, starting in the third quarter, starting the fourth quarter was about where it was. I had a feeling we were okay because their defense was kind of ran down and our offensive line kind of took the game over. So first to fourth quarter, I felt pretty good.
Okay. And who were your all-stars for this game?
J. Malik Taylor had 272 yards rushing,
Golly.
7 touchdowns. I never realized what was going on because we have two basically running backs that run the ball, and then we have a quarterback that he had 117 yards rushing, Cole Fife. But Taylor, I mean, he'd been out for about a month. He's the one that pulled his groin, didn't play in Brinkley. Then with those 2 weeks off, and we've been – really rehabbing him, and he came back. I mean, he looked like a different person. He runs the ball hard to start with, but they just couldn't tackle him. And we weren't going anyone but straight up one way or the other. We're going outside. So Jay Taylor by far, took the game over right off the bat.
So first game back and just has a heck of a game.
Yeah. I would say I don't know if it's a school record, but it's got to be close if it's not. We don't really keep good records that's strong, but Kenneth Dixon may have something to do with it. But I don't know if he ever had 7 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, I actually was at a college football game where I watched Drew Harris for the Ouachita Tigers tie the NCAA record at the time for 7 touchdowns in a game. So, and that's just not something that you see fairly often.
No, usually it's in a close game.
Yeah.
Or typically because you got to keep scoring, so you got to keep it pushing. Usually, if you're blowing some out, you don't get the running backs out of there. So we had to keep going with him.
That's right. And what about your team's performance from this past week were you the most proud of?
Really, our offensive line kind of came together more than they have all year. We still got a couple of young guys that finally are understanding the nuances of blocking real small holes. Because our running backs, if they can get through an 8-man football, they got one person that's going to stop them with the linebackers, and they're taking it to the house. So our offensive line, in my opinion, by far was the running backs can't score without the linemen. They never get any credit. So our linemen growing up and kind of peaking, I feel like this time of year is what you want.
Absolutely. And you guys, and we're going to talk more about Cedar Ridge here in just a moment, but you guys are coming off of a state championship last year. And so, what would it mean for this team to make it back to the state championship this year? Yeah,
at this bunch, there's 3 or 4 that were on the team from last year. It's almost a whole different team. Some of the kids moved up from junior high last year, but I think a lot of people thought we were going to be down a little bit, which we kind of are, but being down doesn't mean you're not going to be able to get back there. We just were really dominating last year, and this group hasn't been ultra dominant, but lost one game, and they're in the semifinals again. So each team is totally different. So what they did last year, it means a lot, but it means nothing to this new group and to the fans. They want to see these kids do it, and it's a whole new team.
It's a whole new team, and they're still executing at a really high level and have aspirations to make it back to the state championship. But before you can do that, you're going to have to face off against Cedar Ridge, and we're going to talk a little bit about that after this break here at South Arkansas Now.
Every gift tells a story, and at Especially For You, they help you make it unforgettable. Birthdays, wedding showers, baby showers, graduations, or just because. Especially For You creates one-of-a-kind gifts made to touch the heart. Anyone can buy a gift card, but the best gifts aren't bought. They're made at Especially For You. Stop by and visit Especially For You and find the perfect gift for life's special moments.
Need equipment for your next job? Don't settle for the traditional rental experience.
The rental experience with Equipment Share is a great experience. We rent everything from dozers to skid loaders, mini excavators, even smaller hand tools. They've always got what we need. They're timely. The billing is quick and accurate. The guys are able to set it up. They do it through their phone. I love Equipment Share. Renting with Equipment Share is not like any other company out there. It's 1,000 times better.
My name is Taylor Gear, and I'm the senior pastor. Maybe you live in our area and you don't have a church home. We'd love nothing more than to see you in this room on a Sunday morning. We're here every week at 10:15. We'd be so encouraged to have you with us anytime. We'd also love to pray for you in any way. If you have a need for prayer, let our staff pray for you. You can email us at prayer@fbceldorado.org. We'd be honored to get to do that. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.
When it comes to your family's financial future, peace of mind matters. At Harrison Financial Management, they are right here to help you plan, grow, and protect what matters most. Whether you're planning for retirement, investing wisely, or securing your family's future, they will guide you every step of the way. Harrison Financial Management, your future, their commitment.
And welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at the Mystic Creek Grill. Coach Porter, you guys are going to be traveling to Cedar Ridge, face off against the Timberwolves, who are 6-1. And there's a little bit of history with this team. You guys knocked them out of the playoffs last year in a 48-6 victory to go to the state championship. So tell me what it means for these guys, or maybe what it means for those guys for this upcoming game.
Yeah, they have a lot of the same guys back. They lost a couple, but their core, there were a lot of young kids last year. We actually played them In 2021, they came to Strong, which is a long way. It was a non-conference game. 8-man just kind of started and got sanctioned. So we've actually seen them 3 out of the 4 years that they've had 8-man. It's a long drive. It's 4 hours. So the home field advantage is huge because high school kids just aren't built to do that. And they're a little better than they were last year, and we're a little different than we were last year. It's going to take a solid A game throughout for us to be able to beat them and play with them. Luckily, we've got a lot of film on them, and we're going to do what we can. So,
all right. And how does Strong match up physically against this Timberwolves team? You've got a little bit older of a team now with Cedar Ridge versus a little bit younger of a team, flip-flopping the roles a little bit. So how do you match up physically against this team?
Pretty much everybody we play, for the most part, size-wise, is bigger than us. This is be one of the few games where we're going to be fairly evenly matched. They're not a huge team. Most of the teams from up north usually have really big linemen. They're not overly big. They have one really big one. He's really good. But other than that, we really match up fairly well. We'll probably have a speed advantage, but they have an execution advantage, I believe. They do a lot of stuff that we're having to prepare for, and that takes a lot out of a team when you have so much you have to look forward to. They're 50-50 on what they do. They run pass just as well as both. So we're going to mix some things up a little bit and go from there.
Yeah, and I think you and I talked about it at one point earlier in the season, how when you go from thinking to just being able to do, you're able to execute just a lot better. And so I know that that's going to be a little bit of a concern for you going into Friday, making sure that your guys are able just to do instead of think.
Yeah, that's why you start Sunday, Monday, trying to get everything in their heads, watching film so they can just, when they see something like a running back flash across, the linebackers know that what they have to look at, a puller coming through. You just react to it. You got to do it over and over in practice. In 8-man football, things are a little different. It's usually dependent on if you don't do your job, you miss a play, there's nobody behind you. So that's why you see a lot of the high scores. So we've always stressed that, but everybody's got to do their job.
And now, what is this Cedar Ridge team good at? Are they an air it out offense, or they run it down your throat offense?
No, they're I'd say 50. I mean, really a 50-50. They don't throw a lot of long passes. They do typically down through the last couple of years try to run a lot of trick plays, whether it's screens going both ways, going to different people, a lot of reverses. And then they can just settle down and try to run it. They have a quarterback that's a really good runner. He's a bigger kid, but he's a powerful runner. But you have to always kind of, in the back of your head, think, okay, something's coming. Could be a screen, so you can't over-pursue, which is one of our hallmarks on defense. If we get after the ball, well, you got to be smart. If somebody flashes past you and you're not getting blocked, that means they're running a screen. So we've just preached that for the last 2 days. So we saw them last year. That's going to give us a little advantage, but it's a new team, so they'll do both. Yeah.
Okay. And we talked about it a little bit, just with talking about last year's team winning a state championship and making it back. But what does back-to-back state championships mean for a program, especially one like Strong, who just started 8-man football back when it got sanctioned?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's done it yet. Of the teams left, I mean, there's nobody else left that could go back-to-back because we won it last year. So just winning one is great, but it always kind of puts a stamp on what you're trying to do and what you're doing as a program, because this is all still new for our kids, for a lot of people in the state. Having 8-man in our state, it's here. So trying to establish our program as one of the best ones and just kind of say, hey, we know what we're doing down here. And I feel like that's where we're at right now. I mean, we've been to the semifinals 3 to 4 years, won 2 of them, and it would mean a lot to everybody in our town too.
That's right. That's right. I know I've got one of my really good buddies just from over the years. He came out of Strong, and he messaged me the other day and was just like, man, I'm loving what Strong is doing this year, and I'm excited. I hope they make it back, and I'm hoping the same thing. And so, Coach, I want to wish you good luck for Friday, and I hope to get to see you on Tuesday of this next week. And we'll be right back after this at South Arkansas Now.
PCI has been shaping the future of manufacturing for over 40 years, and they're doing it right here in El Dorado, Arkansas. PCI is one of America's leading producers of polyethylene containers, known for quality, innovation, and teamwork. Join a fast-paced, rewarding career where your work keeps the world moving. And because PCI is a veteran-owned company, they value things like dedication, diversity, and drive. Are you ready to take your career to the next level? Apply today at polypails.com/careers.
Derrick Henry.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I saved so much bundling, it inspired my workout. Auto! Home!
Okay, and this is Auto again, right?
Auto!
Hey, this is my living room.
Home!
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan.
The dog isn't allowed on the couch, Derek.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At Carl Malone Power Sports El Dorado, we've got the biggest selection of ATVs, UTVs, and motorcycles ready to ride today. Take advantage of special financing, unbeatable trade-in values, and service you can trust to keep you on the trails. Whether it's work, play, or pure adrenaline, we've got the machine to fit your lifestyle. Carl Malone Power Sports El Dorado, where selection, savings, and service all deliver. Come see us today.
Whether it's protecting families from the predators in nature, to helping food taste better and last longer naturally, or just making sure the local ball field is at its best, Lanxess is involved in our everyday lives. With more than 450 employees locally and more than $32 million in payroll each year, Lanxess is doing their part to be a good neighbor and leader in South Arkansas. With that in mind, remember to call before you dig. Know what's below. In Arkansas, it's the law, and it's a free service. Call 811 before you dig. This brought to you by Lanxess.
And welcome back to Fifth and Goal. I've got the head coach for the Smackover Buckaroos, Don Harrison, here with me. Coach, you guys took a pretty big win in the first round of the playoffs this past Friday. You guys won 54-8 versus Hackett, and it's a great win, holding an opponent to under 10 points. And that is the fourth time that you guys have done that this season.
Yeah, kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start offensively, but defensively we did a really good job. Had a really good game plan. We knew watching them on film, we knew what they like to do, but, man, they were dangerous in so many ways. And, man, we saw double reverses. We saw reverse passes. We saw it all. And, can't say enough about our kids and our coaches getting those guys ready. And that quarterback, we talked about him and how he scrambled and bought time, and we prepared all week. He still bought some time and did some amazing stuff, but we got him. I think we had 7 sacks in the game, and so that was huge. But just, again, really proud of our kids. And our community came out and had a really good time at the game. So, I think it was a great experience for everybody. It was good to have a home playoff game. It was good to get a home playoff win.
Yeah, and you guys have been an explosive team all season long. You're averaging, I believe, 47.5 points a game, while holding your opponents to only around 19 points a game.
Yeah.
So how has this team been able to maintain this explosiveness all season long?
Well, we have really good football players, and our staff does a good job of figuring out matchups, when to get people the ball. I also think we do a good job, and we don't go out there and just the same kid get the ball over and over again. We're not one-dimensional. We have. I feel like we have 3 really good receivers. We spread the ball to those guys. We have a tailback in Joe Brown. You can't load the box. If you load the box, we're going to hurt you, I feel like. And if you play too much too high, Joe's going to hurt you running the ball. So it's been really good. But in the way of explosive plays, I think a lot of it boils down to our offensive line. They're either creating the creases for Joe to make those long runs, or they're giving Mitchell the time to find guys like Juice and Jaden I got both Jaden Bryant and Braxton Bryant, and they find those guys for Mitchell to find those guys downfield. He needs time, and that offensive line has done a great job all year long. And so I really have to say I think the explosive plays really boil down to the high level our offensive line's played all year.
You just know the way to my heart, because you know that I love the offensive line and highlighting those guys, and that is and I think you're right. A lot of times your best your best play will boil down to your worst offensive lineman a lot of times.
Oh, absolutely, and offensive line is where the game is won and lost, in my opinion. And it all, like I said, it all starts with up front. It's been the same 5 guys all year long. Kylan Johnson at left tackle, Christian Abeda at left guard, Aiden Bennett, the senior, at center, Hunter Winters, a senior, at guard, and Alliance Points is a sophomore at right tackle, and has been the same 5 guys, and they've done a dynamite job. And we call them the Buckaroo Moving Company, and they, like I said, I think a lot of the time, we've had the big runs. We probably didn't get touched 10, 15 yards downfield. A lot of the times when we have the big plays, Mitchell's had time, been able to read the defense, know where to go with the ball, hold it as long as he wanted to, and throw it downfield. And I mean, we've done some great things, but it really starts with up front. And the game is won and lost at the line of scrimmage, in my opinion.
I agree. And now you had the same 5 guys in at line, but did any of the young guys get in for the playoff game on Friday?
Defensively, yeah. So we got some young guys in. Offensively, I got a couple of young guys in, but defensively, our young guys got in as well. But we were in the process of getting everybody in, and we were going to start rotating, and they threw an interception, and Juice returned it for a touchdown. And they just got to a point where they emptied the bench, we emptied the bench, and, once we emptied the bench, the clock was running, and I think they probably ran 3 plays in over 3 minutes, so it wasn't really going to happen, and it was already a mercy rule, so it was hard to get people in. But we were about to get a punt, and I was like, all right, so we're going to go second team offense and make sure our young guys get in. And that kid threw it on like 3rd and 20, and Juice intercepted, returned it for a touchdown. So I was like, okay, we're going back out on defense, so let's try to get as many guys in as we can on defense for those times. So we got some guys in, but yeah, it's just, it's one of those things where you're in the middle of a ball game, and you're trying to make sure you keep the win, and you're watching the clock, and then when you start getting ready to get some dudes in and do some stuff, which we had repped in, or we had put a lot of young guys in on defense. I think Juice might have been the last one out there, and I was trying to get him off the field, and he intercepted the ball and returns it for a touchdown. But it just one of those times where, but we did get the last offensive touchdown we had some backups in, and Ryder Beasley, who's a sophomore tailback that has a really bright future for us in the next 2 years. I think he had 4 carries for 40 yards and scored a touchdown. So, you get a guy like that and he gets in the game, he wants to score. He wants to run, and he ran hard, and it took – he was dragging 3 or 4 of them at a time. He was running through guys, and, again, another young man that's got a bright future ahead of him for the next 2 years for us on offense and defense. He's also a standout player for us on kickoff teams. So, some of the young guys did get in and get some time. So, you're glad to see that.
And then really quick before we go to the break, you said just a minute ago that the bench is cleared. So did it got a little chippy, or?
No. Like, I'm trying to get everybody in the game. I'm getting everybody in the game, and no. It was a great game. It was there was nothing like that, and they played with great sportsmanship. So did we. That's one of the things I'm really proud of my kids all year long. I think we've had 1 or 2, unsportsmanlikes, and it's maybe hitting a guy out of bounds, and it was a close call. But, my kids play with a lot of character and a lot of class, and so did Hackett. They played upstanding, and we were hitting each other and helping each other up, and it was a good thing. And so no, I meant like we were trying to get everybody off the bench in the game and get as many kids as we can in the game.
Yeah, I got you. So, Coach, we're going to talk more about your hosting playoff game against Mayflower here in just a minute after this at South Arkansas Now.
Located on 1,400 acres amidst Union County's scenic timberlands, LSB Industries' largest manufacturing facility and its employees have been a part of the El Dorado community for more than 40 years. Working together as one team, we are proud to call El Dorado home.
If you born and raised in Arkansas, make some noise right now. You got to place they've built right here in your town.
Rated the #1 course in Arkansas by Golf Week, Mystic Creek is truly a hidden gem, complemented by a modern clubhouse, complete with panoramic views. It also features a fully stocked pro shop and Mystic Grill, serving contemporary American cuisine and Southern classics. Mystic Creek promises an unforgettable experience.
And welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at the Mystic Creek Grill. Really quick, just want to do a huge shout out to the crew out here at Mystic. They always do such a great job every Tuesday night. They've got the best food, the best service, the best golf. It's all great. It is all great. And Coach Harrison, you guys are going to be hosting the Mayflower Eagles.
Yep.
You guys are 10-1, and they are 10-1.
Yeah.
Mayflower routed Harmony Grove this past week. You guys, they beat Harmony Grove 43-7.
Yeah.
And you guys beat Harmony Grove 28-0 in the fourth game of the season. So what is so explosive about their offense that they were able to put up 43 against?
Well, they have
Harmony Grove.
Well, you said it right. They have a lot of explosive players. They have a couple receivers they get the ball to, and they can make things happen. Their tailback is very good, but again, going back to it, their offensive line, their strength of their team is their O-line and their D-line. Probably, other than Junction City, probably the best offense and defensive line we're going to see this year. And we saw some good O-lines and D-lines this year, but in the way of size, athletic ability with the size, their O-line and D-line is very comparable to the Junction City O-line, D-line. And so we're going to have to play really well. Those guys are, their front four on defense is unbelievable. Two of those guys start on the offensive line. Their front five are big. They're physical. They do a great job. And that's the strength of their team. We've got to do a good job, and we've got to keep it. We got to. I think as a coach, you got to kind of look at the situation, and I just don't. You're getting down into a point where you're probably not going to score 40 or 50 points anymore. You're getting down to the top so many teams in the state at 3A. Everybody's good. These are all good teams now, and I don't think anybody's really going to go out there and drop 50 on somebody this week. Everybody's getting, to that point where, you're deep in the playoffs, and everybody's got a good defense. Everybody's got a good offense. There's a reason they're still playing. And these guys are not, they're not the exception. They only allowed 12 points by Salem, who goes out and scores a lot of points every game. They shut down Atkins, who goes out and scores a lot of points every game. So this is a really good team. we're going to have to play well. We're going to have to keep the game close. But I think if we do keep it close in the third and the fourth quarter, we've had that knack. Going back to the Junction City game, it was very close in the fourth quarter. We made a couple plays there that got us the win. Going back to Prescott, it was back and forth there in the third quarter. We made 2 or 3 plays, and before you know it, we look up and we're up 3 or 4 touchdowns. So we've got to keep it close, and it's going to be a battle. But I will say this is probably, when it comes to the trenches, this might be the best team we've played all year long in the trenches.
Yeah, so you guys are going to be hosting this game. However, Sports Illustrated has you guys as the underdog for this game.
Yep.
And so, what has the mindset and the focus been like this week in practice so far?
Just trust the process. We're not worried about nobody picked us in some of the games that we won this year, and we're not worried about that stuff. A lot of people picked us to lose to Prescott. A lot of people picked us to lose to Junction City. Some people picked us to lose that first game of the year to Drew Central, who's a good football team and won their first playoff game this week, last Friday. So, we don't pay attention to that kind of stuff, and we concentrate on the process and getting prepared, and being the underdog. It don't matter. Like I said, I think everybody that's in the playoffs right now in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, everybody's pretty good. You're getting down to that point, and so it's all going to come down to execution. It's all going to come down to who's going to make the plays in the fourth quarter to win the game, and hopefully we make those plays in the fourth quarter, and we get a little luck and the ball rolls our way, and we're moving on to the next round.
Yeah, and so if you guys win on Friday, then you'll either travel to Fordyce or Charleston.
Yes.
One is just around the corner.
Yeah.
The other one is quite a drive.
Yeah, and then again, 2 very good teams. But I would much rather drive. I would much rather drive to Fordyce, of course, because Charleston it's a long ways off, even though you're on the interstate majority of the time, but man, it is a long ways off. But 2 very good teams again. Like, you're getting down to that nitty gritty, and that one's going to be, I think that one's going to be close, and it's going to be very late in the game to see who wins that one as well.
Yeah, and so Coach, we're looking forward to for you guys hosting this playoff game on Friday. I want to wish you guys good luck. I hope that we get to meet back up here on Tuesday of next week and talk all about it.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate you coming in. Good luck on Friday. And we'll be right back after this at South Arkansas Now.
Bad things happen, and of course, they never happen at the right time. Maybe it's just a little bump and cosmetic damage, or it's turned into a huge insurance claim, and you just don't know where to go next. That's why so many of your neighbors and friends call on Cook's Body Shop in El Dorado. From the minor to the major, Cook's Body Shop is in your corner. Need someone to help you deal with insurance? Look to Cook's. Need advice on what to do next? Look to Cook's. Need a free estimate? Look to Cook's. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cook's.
More product than ever in the store history. That's what's happening at Union Kennel and Farm Supply. A huge sale is going on right now, including 50-pound bags of deer corn, only $6.50 per bag. 50-pound bags of rice bran, marked $1 off. No one, absolutely no one, has a better selection of small animals, birds, reptiles, saltwater and freshwater fish than Union Kennel and Farm Supply. 1100 West Hillsboro in El Dorado. Or call 870-864-9229.
You're tough, determined to take challenges head on. But when cancer strikes, you'll need more than strength. You'll need the right care. We provide the tools you need to fight and the compassionate care you need to keep going. Every step of the way. Carti. We're with you.
Fitting a buck to hang on the wall rarely happens by accident. It starts with preparation, takes some skill, and often even a little luck. Country Village Sporting Goods is your headquarters for all 3. Right now, check out a brand new shipment of feeders, so new that they're still pulling them out of the boxes. A huge selection of lacrosse boots and plenty of warm weather camo for that early season hunt. And of course, bow hunters can't go wrong with the sales and service at Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway in El Dorado.
Much at that point.
You'll just be happy.
Yeah.
And welcome back to 5th and Goal, hosted here live at Mystic Creek Grill. I'm here with the offensive coordinator for the explosive Junction City Dragons, who are 10-1 on the season so far. Coach, you guys took a heck of a win, winning 65-12 versus Bearden. It's always a great win, holding an old rival to an old score. And really surprising that this isn't a conference game anymore for you guys, but this is an old conference rival, and you guys took a pretty hearty win. You guys have been winning games by 40.8 points per game in the games that you win, and you score an average of 40.5 points per game. When you guys are and you guys only have the one loss on the season, so when you guys are winning, you're winning in dominant fashion pretty much all year. And in 7 games this season, you guys have scored 43 or more points. So you guys have just been really, really explosive. So what has been the key to this explosive offense?
There's several, actually. We have, we got a lot of good players. I don't think that's any secret. Pretty dominant up front. As Coach Harrison was just saying,
Can you move your mic up just a little bit?
Yeah, sorry about that. As Coach Harrison was saying, is that better?
That's better.
Hear me now? All right, bet. So, as Coach Harrison was saying, we're huge. We got a big O-line, D-line. Those guys, they're not just big and lazy. They're big and athletic. They're guys that have offers and guys that are getting offers. Thankful to be loaded up front. Anywhere I've ever been when we've been good, we've been really good up front, and that's where it starts. When you have that, the rest just falls into place. We have athletes behind them who can run the ball. We have guys that can throw the ball and catch the ball. We've done a lot more running this year. Our run game's been very explosive. Ironically, the only person we have over 1,000 yards is our quarterback. We've got another guy with 700, and I think we've got 3 or 4 guys in the 300 to 500 yard range. But I think we're averaging, if I'm not mistaken, right at 8.5 yards a carry on the year.
Golly.
Yeah, and that's with guys that, you get guys that come in late that have negative yards rushing, things like that. So, but then, we're also averaging like 10.5 yards completion. So I think it's just a combination of guys executing, having a lot of talent, being able to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And, our wishbone package has been pretty dominant for us. We're happy with that. We get behind those big guys and lean on people and take over the game a lot of times. And that's really what happened Friday. So, anyway, I don't know if there's any one thing. It's just, we got a lot of good players, and we got a guy triggering it who can really go and puts a lot of pressure on defenses. So,
different people have different opinions about the wishbone offense, but to me, there's nothing just more beautiful than a well-executed wishbone offense. And, reminds me a lot of when I first became an Arkansas Razorback fan, and you had just that dominant backfield. And, Peyton Hillis and Heisman winner Darren McFadden, just great. And so I think that's why I really enjoy going back and watching your guys' games and watching the things that you do, is just because it's well executed. And you guys, going back to a point that you made earlier, none of your guys on the line are lazy. They're getting after it every single play. And on the other side of this, you guys have been winning by a substantial margin in every game. How has the defense contributed to that just all year? Go ahead.
The more touches you get, more chance you have to score. And our defense, as Coach Jones says every time he's on, their number one goal is get the ball back to the offense. You can't score without the ball. And I've told kids that it seems like for 20 years now. It's the same mantra as you have the ball, you got a chance to score. You don't have the ball. In our case, our defense put their fair share of points up too. So when we don't have the ball, we're just, pretty likely to score as well sometimes. And those guys do a great job of forcing turnovers, putting other team in a bind, getting us the ball back in short yardage situations sometimes, helping us keep momentum going. We'll get a flow going where we have the ball moving pretty well, and next thing you know, we'll look up, there's a 3 and out, or there's a turnover, and it puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team to have such a quick turnaround, and we are blessed to have a lot of depth, on the line, not on the line. I think I was looking a while ago, and we've got, I think we've got 4 guys between 200 and 500 yards rushing, and those guys come in and they're averaging 10 and 11 and 12 yards a pop, like I say, you get behind those big linemen, anybody ought to be able to do that, that's pretty athletic, but our guys do it, and they do it with discipline, they do it with style, we've had some guys pick up late, adding some depth in our backfield running the ball, so It's a blessing, and our defense has just been dominant for us and done a great job of just getting us the ball back, getting us in positive situations. They bailed us out a few times too. Friday night was an example. So thankful for that, and Coach Jones and Coach Ball and our defense guys do a fantastic job of getting those guys lined up in good positions to make plays.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. And what a great answer. And true coach answer right there. And we're going to talk about you guys hosting the Cross County Thunderbirds here in just a minute after this at South Arkansas Now.
When it comes to protecting your home or business, trust the name that's been serving South Arkansas for 3 generations, Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. From residential roofs to large commercial projects, the experienced team at Cross delivers quality you can see and reliability you can count on. Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal, built on trust, proven by results. Call Cross Roofing today. Put a solid future over your head.
Non-stop phone calls, registered mail, repossessions, or threats of lawsuits from creditors, and it seems like no one is willing to let you hit pause and just catch your breath. You need the help of Robert Rushing and the Rushing Law Firm. Bankruptcy is not the end. It could be a chance for a fresh start. The Rushing Law Firm goes to work for you, letting you hit that pause button and start over. Call the Rushing Law Firm today at 870-875-2940 or stop by the office at 725 Northwest Avenue in El Dorado. The Rushing Law Firm.
For longer than most of us can remember, Timber Lane Meat Market has been a staple of our community, where quality meats and friendly faces come standard. From everyday dinners to weekend cookouts, make it fresh, make it local, make it Timber Lane. Be sure to check out the daily lunch specials and like us on Facebook. Timber Lane Meat Market, 1336 West Hillsboro in El Dorado. Proud to be part of South Arkansas, and even more proud to be displayed on your table.
And welcome back to 5th and Goal. And Coach, while we were at break, you let me in on a little secret there. That is that you guys rushed for 541 rushing yards.
516.
516. Okay, 516. And you guys did that this past Friday against Bearden. When's the last time that you did that?
According to Wayne Pumphrey, it was 2017, also against Bearden. They ran for 541 yards.
Okay, so I got the numbers flip-flopped there.
Yeah.
And you said that only 2 of your players had over more than 100 yards rushing. So how many guys were rushing the ball?
12 different guys. We had one guy with 1 negative yard. A couple
had
young guys. Yeah, I mean we had 4 guys with less than 10 yards carrying, but we had a lot of guys touch the ball and have some success, and that was a good thing. And what we were talking about earlier with depth, we got a lot of guys who can run the ball. They don't necessarily have to, and it lets us platoon some and keep guys fresh for D when we need them, keep guys fresh on offense when we need them on the defensive side. So, and on top of that, we threw for another 75, and had a touchdown pass, but 600 total yards right at it. So it's a pretty fun night.
And this Cross County Thunderbirds team. This is a 9-2 team coming into this matchup. What do we need to know about this Thunderbird team?
They're pretty big up front. They've got a solid sized defensive line. We're going to get challenged with a little size this week for once. They play a double wing offense with Van Pascal, coached at Monticello. Several other places back during the day. Coach Pascal's got a state title ring. He has a well coached football team. They do what they do, and they do it very well. And they've got some size, got some momentum. They play great football. They played East Poinsett County 20-14 or 20-16 game. They play well defensively. They line up. They're solid. They do things well. They tackle well. It's going to be a challenge for us this week for sure. And our guys, have stepped up and understood that that's the point. And we don't. I guess we don't ever go into any week saying, "Hey, we're fixing to go score 50, fixing to go score 60." We're like, "Hey, let's get a first down. Let's string together first downs. Let's get one in the end zone. Let's see how they're playing us. Let's let's go do what we do, but let's do it against what we think they're going to do. And then, everybody always comes out with adjustments. So, I mean, you adjust as the game goes along and try to anticipate that as much as we can. And we just, we try to keep the mindset, hey, let's get one first down at a time.
Yeah, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step or a first down.
Oh, yeah.
So now I've been waiting to talk to you about this since Friday, and that is Hampton lost to Mineral Springs this past Friday. And so what would that mean for the semifinals?
Well, that puts Mineral Springs in a position to go to Desert Friday. I don't know how many people keep up with junior high, but Mineral Springs had a terrific junior high ninth grade group, and those guys were pretty stout, and they moved those ninth graders up, of course, end of the year. And I think one of their freshmen went off Friday for 117 yards rushing maybe, and had a humongous catch and some tackles on defense, made some big plays. And those guys are really athletic. We played them early in the year. We fumbled 4 times, beat them 39-0, and they weren't at their best at that point. They're the prime example of a team can get better and get hot as the year goes on and get hot at the right time. And they've gotten hot at the right time. Coach Jackson, those guys have them primed up and ready to go. And they're a super athletic team. They had one of the better defenses we saw in the year of flying to the football and being solid, making the tackle. I want to say they've got some guys that number 5 former place linebacker. He's really tough to block. He does a great job of setting angles, and those guys going to Desert could be a problem. We could see those guys again in the semis. We got to get past this one first, but potentially, the winner of our game gets the winner of Desert Mineral Springs for a chance to go to Little Rock, and Desert being a double flexbone team, and they're good size too. They're in that same conference with Cross County, and people say they're the SEC of 2A, and they do have some depth in their conference as far as good teams, and so we could potentially, if we were to go say all the way and win it all, that could potentially involve going through 3 teams from that same conference in Cross County, Desert, and then if EPC from the other side were to make it to the final as people are predicting, then that could be a unique stat. Is to have to beat 3 teams from the same conference. But like I say, we're worried about Cross County. That's who we want to play. Of course, you look at potential matchups. I mean, everybody does, but I don't think after looking at things and how things are shaking out and what people are saying, I mean, our kids want to go out and prove that they're more than just looking good in a suit, I think that was mentioned. And, that our guys, we don't just line up athletes and throw them the ball and let them be athletes. We play good ball. We coach our kids. I think that got overlooked. I think our kids realize that got overlooked, and I don't think they're very happy about that. I've seen our kids do a whole lot when they weren't very motivated, so we'll see what happens Friday night. But
yeah, not just an athletic ball team, but a disciplined ball team.
Mm-hmm.
And how do your players match up physically against this Thunderbird team?
Well, we played them last year. Dominic Grimes had a great night. I think we beat them. I can't remember the score, but I was there till halftime. I left. I came to watch the game before I got to Junction City, obviously, but I guess we took over later. Our size wore on their size pretty well. They went out and made adjustments in their program since then. We went out and made adjustments in ours. It's not going to be the same game. I think it could be a great game in the trenches. If you love D-line play, oh man, this might be the one to watch. They've got a great D-line. We've got a great D-line. It's going to be a fun one in that regard, and of course, I bet both teams have game plan to try to work around that stalemate a little bit, and we'll see how it works out. But I think our kids match up well. I think we're just slightly faster, obviously we spread out, and they're a little more ground and pound, run the clock. So I think if we can, get stops on defense, get the ball back, and we can hit some big plays and score, then we should have an excellent night, and at the same time, if they get to where they can drive the ball a little bit and our kids come out and playing on their heels and not as aggressive offensively as like we started the game out last Friday. We started out a little behind. Bearden was actually ahead 12-6 beginning of the second quarter, and we dominated from there and took it over. Our kids woke up, and we talked to them all week about you can't come out flat for that reason. But it's going to be a great game. I mean, we're expecting a dogfight. We told our kids, hey, it's one first down at a time, it's one play at a time, it's one score at a time, it's one stop at a time. Stay in the moment. stay in control of the game. Don't do anything dumb to cost us, and let's let the game play out and see who's better. So
That's right. And so, Coach, I want to wish you guys a good luck on Friday. I hope that we are getting to sit here and chit-chat again on Tuesday of next week, and I'll be looking forward to hearing some score updates from Brennan Cup on Friday. And I appreciate all that he's done for me so far this season and providing those updates. And good luck on Friday, Coach. And we'll be right back after this at South Arkansas Now.
Homes are typically heated or cooled 24/7, 365, using nearly half of all home energy. That new stainless steel refrigerator may look cool, but upgrading to the quietest and most efficient HVAC system can have much greater rewards. Choose a system with a Wi-Fi-enabled thermostat, so the most important appliance in the house is also the smartest, allowing you to set the perfect comfort level from anywhere. Presented by Lennox. Learn what perfect feels like at Lennox.com.
Serving South Arkansas for 25 years, and all the while expanding and growing throughout the state. ProMed Ambulance is proving their motto of world-class care and hometown values. For example, their new mobile integrated healthcare communications center. This state-of-the-art facility allows communication specialists to work directly with local 911 call centers to ensure the closest medical team is always dispatched to any emergency. World-class care and hometown values. For more information and career opportunities, go to ProMedAmbulance.com.
Locks for our doors, cameras around our homes, alarms for our vehicles. Yet we go online with little to no protection whatsoever. You are 14 times more likely to have your identity stolen than your home burglarized. And if you work from home or have any business over the internet, the chances are even greater. EDP Solutions offers both full and co-managed security services, vulnerability assessments, and 24/7 monitoring. And this isn't some company on another continent. These are our neighbors who take seriously the responsibility of keeping you and your family safe online. EDP Solutions, delivering technology and office solutions with value and commitment.
For nearly 50 years, South Arkansas floors have been covered by El Dorado Custom Carpets. And not just carpets, but true hardwood, laminate, stone, porcelain, ceramic, marble, and more. And guess what? It doesn't end with just floors. El Dorado Custom Carpets carries a tremendous selection of backsplash, wall tile, and area rugs. The truth of the matter is, one commercial can't come close to telling you everything you can find at El Dorado Custom Carpets, 1601 East Main Street in El Dorado. Call 870-862-4945.
And welcome back to Fifth and Goal, hosted here live at Mystic Creek Grill. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a coach from El Dorado tonight. They just weren't able to send a coach, but that's okay. I'm going to give just a brief synopsis of the game on Friday and talk about what we're looking forward to as we travel to the next playoff game this coming week. And so El Dorado won 28-10 over the Lake Hamilton Wolves, which is an old conference rival for El Dorado. And in fact, these teams have met in the state championship a number of times. And so facing off in El Dorado at Memorial Stadium, Wildcats were able to hold off the Lake Hamilton Wolves, and Lake Hamilton actually did a really good job of holding on to the ball. They actually had more possession time with the football in their hands than El Dorado did. El Dorado was just able to perform really well offensively and be explosive, and Lake Hamilton was able to put together some really long drives and just hold on to the football for a long time. But the El Dorado defense, even though they were on defense for a really long time during the game, their resilience and their endurance was just through the roof. Even at the end of the fourth quarter, you didn't see guys with hands on hips on the El Dorado defense. And it was just a really, really good game. And Maximus Wright was the Jason Hardy State Farm Player of the Game. He came in. Gavin Brooks went out earlier in the season due to an injury, the starting nose tackle for the Wildcats, and Maximus Wright took over at that position and had a heck of a ball game, was able to get into the backfield, create some pressure, and disrupt some plays. And El Dorado really was just a few missed completions to win in that game 42-10. And now coming to me from the booth back at the producing studio, I've got Sandy Sanford who's going to join me, my old man. A little bit, yeah. Hey, Dad, I just got a text saying that nobody could hear you. Did you click the button so that people can hear you? The M. Okay. Well, that was a really good talking point while that nobody could hear. Basically, for those of you at home, Sandy said that this is one of the most physical defenses that he's ever seen out of El Dorado, Arkansas. This team has just done a really good job, and he and I actually got the chance to coach up man, Bratavian Brown, number 5 on the Wildcat defense, who has just had a phenomenal year in playing a very, very physical game. And Sandy pointed out that the opposing teams a lot of time will try and go to the opposite side of the field that man is on, because he just hits so hard. And the only thing about that is when you try to avoid Bratavian Brown, you're running into a Ja'Cory Lumsey. So it's between you're going between a rock and a hard place anytime you go up against this Wildcat defense. And you're right. This is just a very, very physical Wildcat defense. And this team is. Go ahead.
I think people can hear me now. At least I hope so.
I believe so.
And then going to the offensive side, after we talked about Cannon Jacobs and him growing into that position, you just can't take anything away from J.J. Samuel. I mean, this is a kid coming out of the backfield who squats 500-plus pounds. That lower body strength, that core strength, that outmatches most defenses.
And J.J. Samuel had over 1,000 rushing yards in the regular season this year.
I saw that, 1,051, I believe, and I thought it was great. Alan Tyson put his math skills together the other night and was able to pick out that was 6.7 yards per carry. Think about that, though, Jax. Anytime you hand the ball to someone and they're going to get you 6 or 7 yards per carry, and that gives you a short second down, we all know when you have second and short, it allows you to open the playbook up and do whatever you want. And I think that the Wildcats have taken advantage of that this season.
That's right, and the Wildcats have done a really good job of utilizing the play-action pass or the quick screens, and have allowed that to become really explosive plays. And anytime that they spread out the offense, they've also got that +1 backfield with Cannon Jacobs, who has just run phenomenally so far this year and has really just grown as a player as this season has progressed, and runs with such vision anytime he's going downfield, and is a UAM commit to play wide receiver. And I think that he actually stands a pretty good chance of giving this Shiloh Christian defense a hard time. He has just run with such ferocity all year long anytime that he takes off from the backfield. And this Shiloh Christian team actually has struggled a little bit with the quarterback run. I've been going back and watching film trying to see, what can El Dorado do that's going to help bring down this Shiloh team, because this Shiloh team is good. They're only 2 losses all year long are to 2 undefeated teams, and they lost both of those games by a very, very thin margin.
I'm not worried about El Dorado's offense being able to move the ball against Shiloh. I'm really not. Although we did struggle, in my opinion, last week against Lake Hamilton, what concerns me is El Dorado has been exposed this year to the deep pass. And Shiloh is known for having a run and gun / West Coast style offense. They'll empty the backfield. They'll run a lot of crossing patterns. They'll run drag routes. And that offensive line is good enough to give their quarterback time, and that concerns me. That's where I believe the disconnect could show for El Dorado. Now, that being said, El Dorado hasn't had to focus that much on teams who pass the ball down the field out of an empty backfield. They've known that the teams they were playing were going to try to establish the run first. I don't know that Shiloh is going to worry about establishing the run, so it'll be interesting to see how Coach Abels and the defensive staff responds to the game film that they've watched this week.
Right, and the Shiloh team scores an average of 50.8 points per game, and we've seen the Wildcat defense hold down some strong offenses so far this season, but like you said, not one that looks like this. But again, this is just such a physical Wildcat defense that they're going to, I think, still pose a strong challenge for Shiloh, and I feel like this game could go many, many ways. And now, if El Dorado wins on Friday, they could either host Marion or travel to Sylvan Hills for the 6A state semifinals, and I think that it would mean a lot for this team to get to face off again against Sylvan Hills. And honestly, I think that just as a fan, I almost want to see the Wildcats travel to Sylvan Hills rather than play Marion again.
Well, I agree with you in that sense that I think if you talk to any coach in El Dorado, they feel like that's the one game that they wish they had a chance at again. Special teams played such a huge part in that game. I believe at one point Sylvan Hills' average starting position was their own 48-yard line. I don't think you would see that again if the teams faced off with each other. Obviously, Sylvan Hills also that tempo offense that they had that was not regulated by the officiating crew. So even if they made a swap, if they brought in a substitution, by rule, the umpire should stand over the ball until the defense has made a substitution or had an opportunity to do that. That didn't happen during that game. We watched many plays where the chains weren't even set.
Yes,
and
we
then
did.
the play continues, and they're like, that's a first down. How would you know that's a first down?
Didn't even have the chain
So
set.
I don't think that happens again. At least I wouldn't imagine that it would. I would think that Coach Hill would probably end up getting flagged before that happens a second time to him this season.
And really, really quick, in your expert opinion, as an expert analyst and just former voice of the Wildcats, what would it mean for the Wildcats and the fan base for another state championship appearance for the Wildcats?
Well, I think it speaks to talent, Jax, because you go back and you had before Scott Reed, you had Butch Gray, and then I forget the coach's name that was here for a couple seasons, and Scooter Register. Scooter Register went to a state championship. They lost to Bentonville. Fast forward to Scott Reed, he obvious, wins 3 in a row, wins 4 out of 5, goes to 5 out of 6 state championship games. Then you go forward with the Stephen Jones era, and he wins a state championship. If you bring in yet another coach who wins a state championship or makes a really deep run to the playoffs, I think it says a whole lot about the talent level and more importantly, the junior high and junior varsity level of coaching to get your kids prepared to be to that point.
That's right. And you've got guys who've been with the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade teams for a long time, like Coach Borofsky and Coach Jimmy Johnson also works with them, an El Dorado legend, and Scott Perry and Mike Nash, and just some great coaches that have helped coach up these kids from the time that they're 12, 13 years old. And even the Pee Wee level, if we're really talking about it, because Pee Wee football has been a huge thing in El Dorado as long as I can remember, and probably well before then too. And so you're talking about just years and years of great coaching level, talent level coming in, and I think you're right, and I'm just excited to see what this El Dorado team can pull off against Shiloh on Friday.
I think Mike Nash will be surprised that he's been coaching the El Dorado Wildcats, to be honest with you. But I know what you mean by Coach Nash. Jax, I just want to say, coming up for this week's game,
I said the wrong name.
That one down.
I won't live that one down.
Yeah, it was better than saying Brian Nash.
Yeah.
Okay. But coming up for this week's game, you're going to be there, and Grant Merrill's going to join you in the booth. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When it comes to play-by-play, outside of Chuck Barrett, there are very few people that I think are as good in the booth as Grant Merrill. And he's not even half as good at football as he is basketball. But he'll do a great job. Y'all will bring us the game this week. We're looking forward to it. This game's going to stream live at southarkansasnow.com. You can find it also at our Facebook page. You can find it on our YouTube channel. All you have to do is go and search South Arkansas Now.
That's right. So join Grant Merrill and I as we get ready to bring you the call on Friday at South Arkansas Now, either through the platforms that Sandy just mentioned, and I'm looking forward to getting back in the booth with Grant. It was a fun time earlier this year when we did it in West Memphis, and after my first play-by-play game this past week, I'm really looking forward to getting to do it with Grant again and getting to hear more of his play-by-play and just kind of take some pointers and notes because you're right, he does a phenomenal job.
Oh, you're getting a master level class just sitting in the booth with Grant.
I agree.
When it comes to play-by-play. There's some other things I would tell you. Don't pay attention to what Grant does.
I've known Grant for too long. I know that there's things that we don't listen to Grant. When did we start listening to Grant?
Exactly.
Only when we need to. So
I was thinking that it was 2006 when I moved into my current home, and I was there painting when Grant came to town to go call games for us for the dual state tournament. So that was almost 20 years ago because that was February of 2006. So, yeah, you've known him for about 20 years.
That's right. Well, Sandy, thank you for joining. Dad, I don't know what to call you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Milkman.
I've been called worse.
You have
recently.
I've heard. But thank you for joining me so that I wasn't sitting here just talking about El Dorado by myself, just blabbering, because I'm really good at blabbering. And so I appreciate you. And for everybody who's tuned in tonight, thank you so much. We can't do what we do here at South Arkansas Now without you guys. Truly, we are so thankful for just the entire community. And I'm Jax Sanford. I want to wish you good luck, and good night.
For over 6 decades, Glenn Mechanical has been specializing in HVAC, plumbing, and all mechanical jobs. 3 generations family-owned and operated since 1956. Glenn Mechanical's business is based on relationships. They support and give back to the communities they work in. Contact them for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical needs. GlennMechanical.com.
Need equipment for your next job? Don't settle for the traditional rental experience.
The rental experience with Equipment Share is a great experience. We rent everything from dozers to skid loaders, mini excavators, even smaller hand tools. They've always got what we need. They're timely. The billing is quick and accurate. The guys are able to set it up. They do it through their phone. I love Equipment Share. Renting with Equipment Share is not like any other company out there. It's 1,000 times better.
Every gift tells a story, and at Especially For You, they help you make it unforgettable. Birthdays, wedding showers, baby showers, graduations, or just because. Especially For You creates one-of-a-kind gifts made to touch the heart. Anyone can buy a gift card, but the best gifts aren't bought. They're made at Especially For You. Stop by and visit Especially For You and find the perfect gift for life's special moments.
My name is Taylor Gear, and I'm the senior pastor. Maybe you live in our area and you don't have a church home. We'd love nothing more than to see you in this room on a Sunday morning. We're here every week at 10:15. We'd be so encouraged to have you with us anytime. We'd also love to pray for you in any way. If you have a need for prayer, let our staff pray for you. You can email us at prayer@fbceldorado.org. We'd be honored to get to do that. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.